Hey guys, Stock Series episode 72. Get a free share in the EU in the link below for Trading212. Still no go for the UK. So, good week this week for the portfolio. Up about 7,000 overall. Expect a lot of other people have been doing better than me. Everything seems to be up, and I tend to sort of underperform a little bit on the good weeks, but sort of not drop quite so much in the bad weeks with the diversification. A lot of reasonable gain in this portfolio, about 3,300, largely because of sort of Argo blockchain, but all the gold and silver has sort of been doing pretty well as well. Hive blockchain dropped a little, but that's been doing really well sort of over the last few weeks. The little Fortuna silver mines did sort of have a bit of a drop. Potentially one of their mines in Mexico being shut, so that's not very good. I'm sort of taking the gamble on it not being shut. Employs a lot of people, and we'll see. It's not a huge position, but thought why not stick with them. So that's pretty good. And over on Trading212, the ISA sort of is up about £1,500, so not quite as much as everything else. Obviously, I've got Argo blockchain in here. You may have seen earlier in the week I posted that I'd sold off my polymetal position, not because of bearishness on polymetal particularly. I just thought I've got the gold and silver in the other portfolio, so thought I'll temporarily get rid of polymetal and put it all into Argo, and then Argo's done pretty well for the week, so 13.6%. That's good. It's now my largest position. I think it was last week anyway, but that's done well in the green now, and so the REITs are largely what's sort of making this portfolio fairly flat. So American Tower down 2%, Digital Realty 0.6%, so pretty much all the REITs are haven't moved a huge amount. First Majestic done quite well, so getting back up towards 100% on that, hoping for good things. Realty Income not too bad. Stag 0.8%, as I say, pretty much all the REITs are pretty flat. It's just Argo that's done particularly well here. Sylvania done pretty well. £1.03. Metal prices still sort of trickling up but struggling. Rhodium in particular. Tritax, both Tritaxes sort of relatively flat. Vici 3% down actually. So overall the REITs are sort of pretty flat. Interesting considering the high inflation numbers, because most of the REITs get to sort of put their prices up, put their rents up in line with inflation. But maybe it'll take a little bit of time. The REITs have done really well for me over sort of the last sort of few months and last year. So patience. And the invest account has done particularly well. About 2,500 actually. A few sort of outperformers here. Largely sort of everything's up a few percent. But Airtel Africa, off the back of sort of a good week last week as well. I haven't seen any news at all on this. Last week they had some good news about a new sort of Nigerian push. But I guess sort of doesn't take a lot to move these UK small caps. So could just be sort of price action and buying and selling rather than sort of a big development. But so 43% on that. Alibaba, yeah, starting to see a bit of recovery on Chinese tech, but yeah, on the month it's sort of a bit all over the place and not really done too much, so not too bothered by that. Alphabet and Apple sort of slightly down, not taking the inflation numbers too well, I don't think, but yeah, happy enough with them. Not looking to add anytime soon. Archer Daniels having a reasonable week, holding up really well. ASOS, yeah, I was kind of hoping to sort of average this down a little bit further with some of the crypto money soon, but yeah, they've rocketed up 10.7% this week. Yeah, haven't seen sort of any particular news, still haven't got a CEO, but yeah, guess people were just sort of like me thinking the sort of 20, 25 pounds, low 20s was very, very low. So yeah, fair enough. I might still add to them. Aviva's pretty flat. Baidu done probably one of the best out of the Chinese techs. So that's pretty good. Barrett up slightly, 4%. Pretty good. Bristol Myers flat. Broadcom really sort of not up a huge amount this week, but it's just, yeah, powering ahead over the last month. So pretty happy with them. Need to sort of reassess at some point whether they're particularly good value. I don't know whether I want to add to them with the crypto money soon. Caterpillar I'm still sort of waiting on, almost hoping for a crash there, to be honest. It's only small. eBay slightly down for the week, but nothing too much. FedEx had a pretty good week, 4.5%. Glencore 4%. Again, sort of kind of wanting that to stay low. Still only 1,100 quid, so want to be putting into that. Hewlett Packard, I keep sort of still in two minds about whether to get rid of this. Seems good value, I guess. It's sort of forward PE. Looks really good. Buying back shares and yeah, strong outlook, but I just haven't got that much conviction in them, and sort of got some fairly low down stocks that I do have conviction in. So we'll see if it carries on. May sell that off. But things like Himax, sort of really wanting to average this down, hoping it just doesn't sort of rocket up around the $10. Would think it's a great point to be averaging down and sort of fairly significantly upping that. Intel sort of still down at the 50s, having a little bit of sort of hesitation on piling any more into this at the moment. Sort of seeing, as I say, the AMD sort of rocketing up, and Facebook switching to AMD's server chips, and a lot of the sort of big tech names are starting to design their own chips for the server side. They got their consumer side maybe sort of coming back into competitiveness with the new 12th gen Alder Lake. But yeah, the server side is sort of where the money comes from. So if they're starting to lose their grip on that a little bit, then yeah, maybe not so good. But we'll see. International paper, pretty flat. Even the ETFs have done well this week. So emerging markets up 2.6%. Japan pretty flat, but global clean energy had a good week, 3%. As I say, I wouldn't mind sort of increasing these. So yeah, Europe 1.3%. Johnson & Johnson pretty flat. Water ETF doing quite well. Legal and General pretty flat. Lennar had a good week. Lockheed Martin. Micron had a pretty good week. Haven't seen news on this, but sort of still just pretty volatile. Had a very good month though. Would have liked to sort of add more in the 60s, but we'll see what happens. Nintendo's still not moving, which is quite handy because I do want to sort of put a reasonable amount into this. Porsche 4.5% down. Wouldn't mind adding more to this, and Volkswagen still sort of in two minds about whether to go higher on Porsche or Volkswagen, with them being sort of similar. Seems to be sort of still off the back of the CEO of Volkswagen Group, Herbert Diess, potentially getting sacked. Not sure I can see him getting sacked, to be honest. So I was kind of sort of taking another gamble on him staying in power and the electric transition carrying on. But we'll see. Process done quite well, 10 cents up this week, so Process have done okay. But I do want to average that down. Raytheon slightly down for the week. Renault had pretty good week, 6% up. Haven't seen the news on that, but yeah, very sort of low amount of news there. Everything I see sort of on their electric side is a few years away. They've got the electric Megane, from what I've seen, on the way, but yeah, a little bit slow going, but yeah, pretty much back to break even on that. Rio Tinto actually had a positive week. I would like to be averaging that down. Shell slightly down for the week. Samsung pretty flat. Sega 8.6% on the week. They've announced a share buyback program, which, yeah, I was kind of hoping they might be sort of reinvesting the money, to be honest. They've made a reasonable amount of profit sort of recently, and yeah, I was kind of sort of hoping they would reinvest it. They've got their sort of slot machine and pachinko machines sort of declining, and getting into sort of the resort casino side, as well as the games. The games obviously are doing really well. That's sort of the main profitable side, but yeah, not too sure how I feel about just doing a share buyback. Seneca slightly down for the week, but that's fine. Siemens 2.4%. I think I'd sort of slightly overlooked these, really. Sort of been mentioning that I was looking to go for a more robotics ETF recently, and sort of not really finding anyone who actually sort of does the robotics and sort of automation side. I think the iShares ETF and the other one that I saw sort of doesn't really seem to focus on that sort of thing. It's sort of chips and sort of just various things around robotics and automation. But yeah, Siemens actually sort of get into the nuts and bolts of it. So yeah, probably have to do a little bit more research on the Siemens, and sort of they're not the cheapest on sort of valuations or forward PE of I think in the sort of low to mid 20s, which yeah is a little bit high, but I may consider upping that. I was sort of thinking about selling it off and maybe waiting for a drop, but yeah, if they're going for that sort of thing, then it probably is worth the higher PE. Sony's been pretty flat, but that's been rising the last month. Small cap ETF flat. Stellantis flat as well. TSMC pretty flat. Want to probably increase that with all the new server chips and everything. Everything will still be going their way. Taylor Wimpey slightly green. Tesla. Interesting week with Elon Musk's tweet on Saturday saying, should he sell some of his stock, 10% of his stock? Everyone voted yes, and the market shat themselves on Monday morning. So, yeah, interesting one. He did end up, I think, from what I've seen, he would have about sort of between 17 and 23 billion to sell, and I think he sold 5. So potentially more rocky action to go. So I wouldn't mind maybe if this comes sort of into the 900s, maybe going for a bit, especially if I am selling off crypto. Maybe not sort of the next week, but the week after. Yeah, have this as sort of my one of my risky sides. So we'll see how that goes. Turtle Beach pretty flat. So is Tyson. Vale 8% up on the week. I did have about £150 in cash from dividends, and added a little bit to these. Unfortunately, at the higher level later in the week. But yeah, only that's why it's sort of up to £800, and with the rise obviously. But yeah, would like to sort of make this a much bigger position. Not too bothered about if I end up buying in here, because sort of on the 3 month it's still heavily down, and sort of on the year it's very, very down, obviously with the low iron ore price. So yeah, we'll see. Video games ETF, yeah, up 6%. In profit on that now. Kind of wanted to make that a bigger position at some point. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. But Beatrice 2.8% up on the week, even though it had a sort of rough end. And Volkswagen, yeah, down a little bit, as I say, with the CEO. So interesting week overall. Kind of sort of, as I say, hoping everything, or a lot of these stocks could sort of stay where they are just for a little bit longer to get the crypto money in, and then sort of, yeah, have a nice little few months, hopefully. But seems like they're going a little bit first, but we'll see. So leave your thoughts in the comments below, and like and subscribe. See you soon.